I'm tired of all these motherfucking inactives in my motherfucking fantasy league. TWIF Week 10. Let's do it. As always, we review the previous week's matchups before jumping into the preview of next week. I took down The Cure Sucks, I'm Easy. Your Garbo, Simon. The Night Owl, with a Doug Martin 51-point performance, managed to overcome Clap for Bacon. Choking a lost to Disco because he's bad and started someone on bye. Fabiano's brilliance and no fried. Spencer's just really freaking good. Ben manages to take a game over Sea Gouch. And Aaron barely beat Ramses. Week 10, which is this week. The games are decent, I will say. We'll start off with a good one. It is Cameron and I. And drink of choice today is orange juice right out of the carton. Not even going to use a glass. That's how many shits I give. Hold on. Ugh, the lid kind of tastes like fish. Okay. So Cameron and I. Cameron's 4-5, reeling, 2-game loss streak, and I'm on a 2-game win streak, leading my tied for the division lead. Matty Ryan and Phil Rivers. Phil Rivers is awful. Advantage Matty Ryan. Ray Rice and Rashad Jennings. Considering Rashad Jennings already locked in 2 points against an awful team, and Ray Rice is Ray Rice, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Ray Rice will outperform him. LaShawn McCoy is probable and will probably do better than Stephen Ridley, although Ridley has an extremely favorable matchup with the Buffalo Bills. Jeremy Maclin has a good matchup with the Dallas Cowboys. Percy Harvin probably will not play. Advantage Jeremy Maclin. Mike Wallace, Lance Moore. Mike Wallace is really freaking good, and he's also playing Kansas City, who's the opposite of really freaking good. Advantage Mike Wallace. Vernon Davis playing the awful St. Louis Rams. Jared Cook is awful. Advantage Davis. Eric Decker, fantasy superstar, is somewhat injured, but I believe he'll start. Daniel Thomas also somewhat injured, so it's basically a coin flip, but I think Decker's better. Greg the Leg, well, he's really freaking good, even though I accidentally dropped him last week. And Mason Crosby. Advantage Greg the Leg because Crosby's on bye. And the Steelers are playing Kansas City. Kansas City is fucking terrible. And the Giants are playing Cincy, who's not that bad. Although, what's his name? The Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, has thrown 7 interceptions in his last 3 games. And I'm going to have one of those like really tedious, anxious moments where you're going to be waiting on the edge of your seat while I take a long drag of fishy orange juice. I don't always drink drinks straight out of the gallon carton, but when I do, it's orange juice. I'm getting the edge with this one. My running back core is in shambles, but it doesn't matter because Cameron's bad. The Night Owl and No Fried. Kind of a boring matchup here. Cam Newton, Tom Brady. Brady's better. He's a legend. Advantage Brady. Sean Green and CJ Spillhole. I mean, it's Sean Green. Come on. He's awful. CJ Spiller gets the advantage. Reggie Bush and Dougie Martin. They're actually, and when I say they, I'm referring to the Bucks, are actually giving Dougie Martin carries. And guess what? He's scoring 4 fucking touchdowns a week. Easy. Advantage Doug Martin. Reggie Bush, also a dropper of Heisman's. Stevie Johnson, questionable. Doesn't even matter. Brandon Marshall's better. And then Hurt Derb Lilly, inactive owner. So skip. Mario Manningham is awful. Andrus is awful. So I'm giving the edge to No Fried here just because Lily's basically starting 4 people. Which is good for me, I guess, but still boring. Here we have an incredibly good game, although the records don't show it. We have division leading Weston with a great picture, and Kevin. What the hell? Sorry, I forgot to bring this up because I was taking huge drinks of orange juice, which, like, if you've never drinking straight out of a carton before, there's like a weird depth perception thing. You basically have to have the carton pointed like directly upside down to get liquid out, so I will get some liquid out right now. And because there's so much, you're always afraid that you're going to get like a gallon shoved right into your suck hole. Anyway, Eli Pussy Willow, Tony Romo. Well, Eli's been having rough times as of late, and Tony Romo, well, I mean, Eli's having rough times. We'll just stick to that. Jamal Charles, pretty shit this season. He's had a couple of good weeks. That's it, easy. And Ahmad Bradshaw is probably not going to play, so advantage Charles. Law Firm and the Green Bay's running back. This is a really good example of someone who shouldn't even be on a team. Advantage Law Firm. Megatron's probably not going to play. Reggie Wayne already locked in for 10. Wayne gets the advantage. Malcolm Floyd Hole and Antonio Brown. I say Brown's the second best receiver every week, but they're playing Kansas City, although Brown is hurt. So advantage Floyd. Jason Witten's a stud. Jimmy Graham's a stud. Romo loves to throw to Witten in clutch situations, especially in division games, so I'm giving the advantage to Witten. Victor Cruz and Demarius Moore, I believe. Victor Cruz gets the advantage here. Both have pretty crap matchups, but I think Victor Cruz is a bit better. Billy Walsh facing off against Shane Graham. This is kind of cute. Billy Walsh is probably the inferior kicker, and Shane Graham, the matchups are honestly about the same. No, actually, Houston's is worse, but it doesn't matter. I'm giving it to Graham. Broncos defense, Texans defense. Texans defense is really good. The Broncos are playing the Panthers. Hard to say, honestly. With Andy Dalton's struggles lately, interception-wise, I'm going to have to give the edge to the Texans defense here. Just because Dalton has loved to turn the ball over lately. Although, I will point out that any touchdown he catches is caught by A.J. Green. Weston has both of his good receivers out and really no notable backups, so I'm giving the edge to Kevin here. If Weston can get a lot of top-heavy points, and I'm sure y'all know what top-heavy means by now, it's your two core running backs and your receiver. If Weston can get a lot of points out of that position, then I think he'll win. And Jesus, this one's a stinker. I don't even know if... I wish I had someone sitting by me that was a fan of the series so they could tell me whether I should just completely skip this or not. Basically, you have two irrelevant teams. One of them is a piece of garbage that nobody likes. One of them is one of the greatest people to have ever walked the earth. His name's Seagouch, and when he plays high school football games with an All-American talent level, he has signature pancake blocks that begin with the hold and end with him dragging someone to the ground. Christian is going to crush the Curasucks quarterback-wise because Aaron Rodgers is on bye, and the Curasucks probably won't even switch in Andy Dalton. So advantage Breeze. Although with running backs, Christian's pretty boned because Kevin Smith doesn't play. Andre Morris is on bye. Well, I guess he can put in Michael Turner, but even then. Anyway, advantage Curasucks. Then Anquan Bolden doesn't really catch touchdowns, but Sidney Rice is bad. Advantage Bolden. Des Bryant's picked it up the last few weeks fantasy-wise. He's still not very good in real life. Although Julio Jones is pretty freaking good. Advantage Jones. Jacob Tamey basically going to get you a touchdown in 20 yards or just the 20 yards. And Tom Crabtree's on bye. Christian's team really is a mess. Advantage Jacob Tamey. Alshon Jeffrey is out. Or I say out, but did not practice on Friday. He's pretty much out. But the Curasucks hasn't switched him out in the last 4 weeks he's been out, so I'm going to go ahead and give the edge to Seagouch here. I'd also like to point out that Deshaun Jackson seems to have big games against the Cowboys, so if Christian can fit him in, that will be important. Dan Bailey, pretty freaking good. Janikowski, that LP, left practice, whatever. Don't really give a shit, honestly. Dan Bailey's better. Eagles D is playing the Cowboys, and the Niners D is playing St. Louis. Hopefully St. Louis just kicks field goals for my sake and Christian's. Advantage Niners. Now I'm going to tip this carton upside down. Advantage Seagouch. Christian, don't fuck it up. We're going to do that one last. Rampseys and Disco Hobbits. Chad's team, not what it was last year. Rampy's team, not particularly good, but has a pretty good record. Anyway, we'll jump right in. Matt Stafford and Ben Roethlisberger. Stafford, not what he was last year. Roethlisberger is a rapist and he's playing an awful defense. Rape does not count for fantasy points, but I really wish Ben Roethlisberger went to PSU because that would open a whole new array of jokes for me. Advantage Roethlisberger. Willis McGahee and Matty Forte. Forte has a pretty shit matchup. McGahee is pretty hurt. So advantage Forte. Victor Ballard locked in 6 points for Rampy, which is pretty awful, especially when he had such a good effing matchup. And he's going up against Arian Foster, so advantage Foster. Roddy White and Brandon Lloyd. Roddy White gets the advantage. Brandon Lloyd's just not that great. Ryan Broyles, sooner be gay than a Sooner. Andre Johnson, he's a stud. If Andre Johnson wouldn't get injured, then he'd be a Hall of Famer. And your immediate reaction is probably like, Hall of Famer? Hell no. But think about it. Think about how good Andre Johnson is when he's not hurt. Advantage Johnson. Brandon Pettigrew and Kyle Rudolph, neither should be starting. Rudolph is better. Rudolph gets the advantage. Rampy had some waiver wire chump diggity punch in 3. I have a feeling Miles Austin will do a bit better. Advantage Miles Austin. Robbie Gould and David Akers. David Akers is all powerful. Advantage Akers. Dolphins defense ranked 3rd against runs. Tennessee's offense is pretty shit. The Chargers aren't very good, and they're playing Tampa Bay. Advantage Rampy's defense with the Dolphins. Looking at Rampy's team here, it's in pretty bad shape. Sproles is hurt. Stephen Howlings is on a bye. I just can't really give Aaron the edge when he has one. Out of his 2 running back spots in a flex, he has 1 person that should even be on a team. So, advantage Disco. And here you have your game of the fucking week. Fantasy Genius tipping off against Fabiano's Brilliance, the 8-1 juggernaut of the team, also a fan of cheese. Ben already jumped out to a 38-point advantage with 2 brilliant starts. I'd like to believe that Andrew Luck was just a stroke of brilliance for Ben, although I think it was more of an oh shit pickup. But he's the fantasy genius. Come on, guys. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Luck went off for 18 this week, and the Colts D went off for 20. Brilliant fucking move by Ben to get the Colts defense going up against Jacksonville. Knowing that Maurice Jones-Drew was out and picking an otherwise awful defense up to start was why Ben is known as the self-proclaimed fantasy genius. I feel like Ben's title of self-proclaimed fantasy genius is similar to Dwight's title of assistant to the regional manager, because in a sense he is a fantasy genius, and in a sense Dwight is the assistant regional manager, but that the fact that Ben gave himself the title and the fact that Dwight has a to the in the middle of his title kind of makes it like a cute thing. Anyway, yet another TWIF reference that will be lost on half of you. So, do I think Peyton Manning will score more than 18 points against Andrew Luck? The answer to your question is yes. Sorry, Ben. Michael LaShore had a hell of a week last week. Another... Let me get some more OJ. Hold on. Yum. Pulp. Adrian Peterson, Michael LaShore, as I was saying. LaShore is pretty freaking good. Ben's a fantasy genius. Adrian Peterson's hurt. And Spencer dropped his handcuff. Herpity derp. Some guy on the Raiders, I guess since McFadden's hurt and Goodson. Aggie. Since Goodson and McFadden are both hurt, then I guess this guy's going to start. Is this a fantasy genius thing, or is this a desperation thing because Trent Richardson's on bye? Well, this also acts as kind of a handcuff for Ben. So it looks desperation, but because Ben has Darren McFadden, it's not really. It's just more of a smart move. Although it doesn't matter because he's playing Ryan Matthews, who was projected 230 points this year. Hasn't gotten anywhere close to that as you might have expected if you had half a brain. But he will outperform Jones this week. Steve Smith caught his first touchdown last week, which is a joke. Vincent Jackson has been playing fairly well, although I will give the advantage to Smith because he's playing a pretty cushy Denver defense. Not Denver, Detroit. Sorry. So, yeah, advantage Smith. Dwayne Bowe let's just. I don't do this very often, but I'm really curious. How many touchdowns has Dwayne Bowe had this year? There's 3. That's it. So just 3. Um, I'm not gonna do that because it makes me look like I don't know what I'm talking about, and it would take forever. Usually I know the stats, but I was just kind of curious about that. Dwayne Bowe and Torrey Smith. I'm giving the edge to Smith because he's playing a defense that can't stop a nosebleed. As far as tight ends go, Tony Gonzalez has been a stud for years, but Rod Gronkowski, pretty freaking good. And if he doesn't play Spencer as his backup, advantage Spencer. Westy Welker and Danny Amendola. You know, it kind of pisses me off that instead of like outs and questionables, they just give me left practiced, did not practice. So if you watch this Sunday and I'm wrong about a lot of the injuries, it's not my fucking fault. If it says do not practice, did not practice, and it's Friday, then you would assume that they're not going to play. Anyway, Danny Amendola and Wes Welker, assuming they both play, Wes Welker not only I think is better, but has a more favorable matchup. Advantage Welker. Jason Hanson and Lawrence Tynes. 2 very good kickers, except Tynes isn't very good. He's just pretty good. I saw Hanson's name and I was overwhelmed with just, God, he's so good. Imagine if Hanson and Akers played. That would be like 30 combined points. Anyway, Hanson gets the advantage easy. And the Colts and the Bears. Well, let's see. The Bears lead the league in takeaways, but the Colts have already done this fucking game? No. Sorry. Anyway, I got confused because I talked about the defense first. The Colts are obviously going to outperform the Bears. I don't see the Bears getting 20 points against Houston. And you might be asking yourself, why, Lee? Combat X easy pick of the week. What the hell? Well, honestly, I wanted to give it to myself, but I guess this one would be more appropriate. With Lily not checking her team and winning so many games because of sheer luck, No Fried Rice will pick up the Combat X Easy Pick of the Week. Brought to you by Combat X. Stay easy, son. That was TWIF Week 10, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my orange juice, and I will see you guys later.